be part of tonight. He is, I mean, he's really the pride and joy of the Perth Scorchers at the moment.
Yeah.
Can you please welcome Mr. Jason Behrendorff? Now, I have to tell you, I was out with a big chunk of our young adults in Brisbane on Tuesday night, and we have on our leadership team, we have a Kiwi and a Pom, but just stay diverse. You got to, you know, we have to stay diverse. And they both, as soon as they said, seriously, is Jason Behrendorff going to do that? I said, yeah. I said, can you ask him why he's not on the World Cup team? Can you ask him why he wasn't selected for the World Cup team? But gee, that might be a sore point, but here I am.
Well, you better ask Rod Marsh that, because he didn't pick me. So, I guess for me, realistically, I've had a pretty good domestic summer, and I was definitely in the mix. There's a 30-man preliminary squad that was selected, so I was in that, and realistically for me to break into the final 15 was going to be quite tough. The guys that are in there at the moment are world-class players, and it's actually a rare feat at the moment. We've got 3 left-armers in that squad, in Mitchell Johnson, Mitchell Stark, and also James Faulkner. So myself being another left armer was actually, it was really tough to break into that.
You say you had a pretty good domestic season, like as in domestic player of the year good? Is that the kind of good season you had?
Yeah, I guess so.
Well, look, that's kind of where I wanted to start, because I know there's that, and there's also, you know, back 2011, 2012, you were kind of getting noticed as a rising star back then as well. How are you dealing with that pressure? That's got to be huge pressure to live up to domestic player of the year, rising star, all this stuff. How do you cope with that?
Yeah, I guess the domestic player of the year for me was something that was really a shock. So I'm still actually coming to terms with what that means. I've spoken to a couple of the guys that have won it before, and it's a very prestigious award, and I'm still only 24, so I'm trying to actually understand what that means. So I'm very honoured to win that, and then, like I said, a couple of years ago also to win the Rising Star of the Year, and that was something else as well that just started to find my straps and find my feet at the first class level. And in terms of pressure, it's one of those things where you start playing as a junior, and every step you take, whether it be the first representative team, the first time you represent your state, whatever it might be, there's always that added pressure there of playing at the next level. And once you go higher and higher, there's selectors out there, there's people watching you on TV. And for me, the main thing is knowing that I just need to keep doing what I've been doing. I've been selected because I've been performing. And so what I'm doing is good enough, and I just need to keep doing that at the next level as well. And hopefully I'll continue to have success.
That's awesome. I guess the no secret for us, I'm not sure if everyone here knows, but you're a Jesus lover, you're a Christian. So faith is obviously a big thing for you. What has been the biggest test in your, I suppose, life for that? Because I guess now you're obviously travelling a lot with the team, but then there's probably high school and probably even earlier days when you're first getting into cricket or first starting to get into professional cricket. What's been the biggest test for your faith?
I think the biggest test for me was actually when I moved from Canberra to Perth. Growing up in Canberra, brought up in a lovely Christian home, and for me, church was going on the Sunday. That's what I did with my family, and I guess growing up, that's what we did. And when I moved to Perth, it was really up to me whether I wanted to continue with my faith or what I wanted to do. And I chose to take that next step and really own my faith, and that was the biggest step for me, and I guess the hardest thing, really reaching out and taking that leap of faith, so to speak. And it's been really, I guess, it's been a great journey since I've been over here. I've been really accepted within the squad. All the guys know where I stand and my faith and my beliefs, and they respect me for it. And so that's the sort of culture we're building over here in Western Australian cricket, that no matter where you come from, your background, your beliefs, anything like that, we're all working towards the same thing on the cricket field, and everyone respects you for it.
That's got to be something you've got to be proud of. I mean, I'm not sure how much it travels over here because it's not really a code that we talk about in football world over here, but you know, it has been a rough week for NRL in Queensland. There's a lot of stuff going on with drugs in that code and that kind of gear. So it must be a point of pride for you to be able to say, this is what we believe in Western Australian cricket, that we respect each other and support each other. Exactly right. And then as soon as Justin Langer came on board, he instilled in us a few values to really make sure that we turned around, because West Australian cricket probably 3, 4, 5 years ago was in a completely different place to what it is now. We hadn't won a trophy in about 10 or 12 years. None of our major players were playing for Australia at the time. We weren't doing very well, and
basically the perception was that we were just a bunch of deadbeats that didn't know how to play cricket. So the way we've been able to turn that around has been fantastic, and I guess I harp on the Justin Langer effect, but it's a massive thing, and the work ethic he's brought to our group, the belief, the honesty, the trust, all those key values, and one of our major values is earn respect. We're certainly going a long way towards that with winning some championships, better behaviour on and off the field, and yeah, let's hope for what everyone's now deeming the Triple Crown. We're going for the Shield win as well, so unfortunately I'm not a part of that with being ruled out with a stress fracture in my back. Which is very disappointing for me. That's something I would have loved to be involved in, but hopefully the boys can continue and keep winning the rest of the Shield season for us.
That'd have to be, like you say, a disappointment. There'd probably be a little bit of angry moment in prayer there, wouldn't there? Come on, God, what's going on, man? I want the Triple Crown.
Yeah, that's the thing. I've said to a few people when I found out, I threw my toys out of the cot. I was frustrated, angry, disappointed, basically every emotion you can think of in a negative connotation that was running through my head. I guess I didn't really know why it happened, what the plan was, but at the end of the day, you never know the plan, do you? It's one thing I've come to grips with actually in the last month since I've been ruled out, is that it's not in my time and it's not my plan, it's God's plan. So yeah, I'm trusting in Him and knowing that, to be honest, I'm hoping it's onwards and upwards for me from here, and this is just a little calm before the storm, so to speak, so that I can be fully fit, ready to go and take on the world again next season.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's so cool. So why is it important to you? Why is faith important to you? I mean, you a guy that, like you say, onwards and upwards, you've got the world at your feet right now. The world's your oyster, and the world will be saying, man, forget all that junk. You get whatever you want right now. So why are you sticking with the faith?
It's who I am. It's the way I've grown up, the beliefs my parents have bestowed upon me, and now, like I said before, coming to Perth and actually taking that leap and taking it on for myself, and seeing the wonderful things that God's got in store for me and my wife Javelle as well. And the amazing thing is that you never know what's coming, but it's always much better than you can actually imagine. And so those things for me really drive me to continue to further my faith and trust in God. Yeah.
Bit deep, I suppose a bit of advice for particularly maybe some rising stars in this room. But you would be exposed to some environments where the temptations to do wrong stuff would be right there when you're on the road and stuff like that. How do you stay strong? Like, I mean, for a high schooler, every Saturday friends inviting them to parties where there's stuff going on that they don't want to be involved in. How do you stay strong and stay above that?
Yeah, the thing is, it's hard, and I struggled with it a lot when I first came over. Was coming into a new environment, you want to fit in, you want to be one of the guys, you want to get to know everyone, but you also have your views and your faith and your belief that I now know that none of the other guys in the squad share that same belief. So that was really quite tough, because you're already a bit of an outsider, and then if you're not catching up and doing what all the other boys do, then you seem even further outside the group again. But the thing I found worked really well for me was catching up with the guys in their environment as well, showing that, look, I'm normal, I'm not some weirdo that only hangs out on Sundays at church. So for me to actually spend a bit of time with them, wherever it might be, but not do what they do all the time, and knowing that what you believe and what you are doing is right is the hardest thing, and I guess it's easy for some and hard for others with doing what they perceive to be as right, or hanging out with the crowd, and that's the thing. I have no problem with hanging out with the boys, but there's just things that I won't do that they will, and I'll just sit in the corner and think, well, it was a bit stupid, wasn't it?
That's cool. So along that same kind of line, I mean, there's got to be a lot of young dudes, definitely in Perth, if not across Australia, who are looking up to you. They're an awesome bowler in their club cricket. I mean, one of the highest wicket takers in the Big Bash. So there's a lot of young dudes and girls looking up to you. So what does that mean for you, and what do you want them to see behind an awesome bowler? What do you want them to see?
That's exactly right. I want them to see me for Jason the person as well, not just Jason the cricketer. And that's one thing I love going back home because all my mates back home know me as just Jason, the bloke they went to school with, or Jason, the bloke they grew up with, and so I get treated like a normal person back there. And it's hard at times over here. Sometimes you meet people and you get introduced as, oh, this is Jason, the famous cricketer. You go, well, yes, I play cricket, but that's not who I am. It's part of who I am, but it's not the whole thing. So I guess for me, it's really important that people see that cricketers, athletes, whoever it might be, that's not all they are. For me, I've got a religious background and I love my family, and I do lots of other things outside of cricket. Some guys are involved in charities. There's lots of things, elite sportsmen, and everyone really is involved in that lots of people don't see. So it's great to be able to expose that and show everybody that, yeah, it's not all just about sport.
That's awesome. Look, I've got one more question for you, but before I ask it, and this will all make sense in time, before I ask it, I just want to wrap the interview up properly. Jason Behrendorff, thank you so much for taking out your Friday night and coming and chatting to us about that big part of your life that's super important, faith, and obviously cricket as well, but mostly the faith. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you, Jason Behrendorff. So final question. Can I get you to just throw the mic there? And if we jump down here, Paulie, can you come and take a photo of the Ignite Perth family with Jason? If we just jump down here and get a photo, is that okay? Can we get is a photo okay?
I'm not sure how that's a question.
No, that is a question, and you don't get to answer it. So let's jump down here. If you want to take that, Paul. And let's all crowd in. Let's get in. This is our first Ignite Perth family photo. Can we turn off the profile? There we go. Jason Behrendorff, thank you so much.